Welcome to the check-in.
Welcome to the check-in.
Hey, y'all. First things first, we gotta let y'all know we grown-ass women, and grown-ass women say some grown-ass shit sometimes. So if your earballs are not prepared for profanity, prepare them.
And also, we are not mental health professionals, so if you are dealing with a mental health crisis or you need somebody to talk to, text HOME to 741-741, and a trained professional will get back in touch with you.
All right, let's get into this content.
So I woke it up. This wireless life.
Wonderful.
It's top tier. All right, we're back.
We're back by popular demand.
All three of y'all who listen, we are back for you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Okay, so we are in part 2 of our toxic series. Well, think positive series. So part 2, we're gonna be talking about toxic communication.
Communication.
Do you mind if you start this one off? I like following after you.
Oh,
because you get me hype.
Oh,
Yeah, you get me.
I'm a hype man.
You give me real hype. But I mean, if you want me to go first, that's fine.
Oh, I can go first.
Okay.
It's totally
Okay.
fine. It's such a nice compliment. Thank you.
Of course.
Good communication.
Good communication. Okay, friend. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty well.
That's good. Amen.
I feel like most toxic communication is a miscommunication. But I'm going to try to... happy 6/27. We got fireworks going off in the neighborhood, so just
Okay.
the Bernie is very excited.
Bernie never sleeps.
It's almost 6:30 and it's time to party on a Sunday. Anyways, I feel like most toxic communication is miscommunication, but there is a difference between you not knowing how to talk to me and you coming out the side of your face.
Oh, explain the difference.
So
So,
toxic communication for me is generally over text message. And that's just because you can't sense how people are coming off.
Okay.
And I've been that person. I've been told at work that I'm very curt.
yeah.
And that is because previously I had a lot of stuff to do. So whatever you need to say what you need and say it quickly because I got other things I got to do.
Yeah.
So if you want me to prioritize you, you need to come with your who, when, why, when, and like just everything. Everything needs to be right then and there.
Your T's crossed and your I's dotted.
All of it.
Yeah.
If you ask me, hey, can you look at this? For who? For what?
Why?
When? What do you need? Like, it's not me trying to be rude. It's me trying to get to the bottom of what you need so that I can fulfill your request quickly and efficiently.
Because that's your job.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I understand over the little I will sound nice. If you call me and ask me, though, absolutely, sure. What can I do for you? Yes. All right, give me a second. Let me look at this, blah, blah, blah. Like, it comes off differently.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not a mean person. I have mean tendencies, but I know I'm not a mean person. 9 out of 10, I'm going to try to help you with whatever you're asking me for.
Yeah.
So that's one piece. The other piece is literally how you talk to somebody. So I definitely had a coworker who he ended up getting relieved from the team. And it was a very great day for me because I did not like him and I had to sit next to him. So he told me something and I was like, okay, well, I need you because you're the person who can do this to do X, Y, and Z for me, please. And I will communicate to the customer. And he looked me in my face and said, I'm not doing that. You can do whatever you want. And I said, okay. So I went and took a snack break because I was like, let me go ahead and feed myself first.
Yeah.
And then I went to my PM and was like,
hey, yo.
Get your mans. Because if he talk to me like that again,
The gun fingers are out.
it's gonna be a problem. I don't like people talking to me crazy.
Yeah.
And I can deal with somebody going, okay, this isn't something that needs to be done. Like, I can deal with feedback that is constructive, even if it doesn't feel good. I can deal with that because I want to be better.
Okay, yeah.
But if you just be a wild, I got his lead. Okay, I got his engineering lead, and then I got the PM, and I was like, y'all need to fix this. All of it.
This is not the tone that needs to be directed at me.
I will not be talked to like this. And I believe that's exactly what I said in my message. I will not be talked to like this. Nobody talks to me like this.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not very confrontational. But when it comes to that, because I know that I have my mother's attitude.
Yeah.
And that it'd be ready. It'd be at the ready. It's been incubating. I don't use it a lot. Yeah. So all it's doing is a bottle of wine that's just getting better.
It's just aging.
Yeah. So I know that I had to nip that in the bud before I pop that cork, because it's gonna be a problem for everybody and I'm gonna get fired.
She has had her fingers in a gun symbol the whole time.
That's like the quickest way to make me mad is for you to talk to me crazy, because I'm nice.
Especially at work. Like,
Because you think you're going to get away with this? No, sir. No, ma'am. Please, I am not the one.
I literally feel like I am constantly, like, in the real world, like, not my circle of friends, but, like, the way people talk to other people, it's just like... And granted, there are some times where I'm just like, okay, maybe I'm being too sensitive. And I've asked, like, my friends, like, hey, what do you think about this message? Like, am I overreacting? Like, am I tripping? Or is this a bitch that I'm dealing with? But I really feel like people don't know how to talk to other people with respect. Even if you are even if you're trying to make a stern point, you don't have to be disrespectful.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people don't know that. So in the workplace, I'm 100% with you. But I am very much like the quiet little mouse that just takes it. I'm trying to be that aggressive tiger that's like, bitch.
I want to say in my last position, that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned. Because I had somebody who was in charge of me, who would talk to me really crazy. And I realized that he would do that because there was only certain people on the team he did that with. And there are people that generally like rolled over or got, frazzled by the way that they were taught. And I'm a people pleaser, like in my little heart. I'm a perfectionist in my little heart. So if I feel like I'm doing something wrong, I'm going to like scatter to try to fix things
quickly.
And I'm going to automatically think I did something wrong, but with this person, and it's funny because I was going through my my mailbox in my email, cleaning stuff out, deleting things, and I remember emailing my mom because, the workplace that we were in, both of us can only communicate really through email. So I emailed her a situation that happened at work where my boss got upset with me over something that was a joke. And I doubled down. And he pulled me to the side later and was like, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And I said, yes, sir, I know. And then he just walked away. And so after that day, he stopped messing with me because he realized the people on the team that were timid, that were not confrontational, that would not do anything to him. And I realized like, oh, I can still be a good worker. I can still be a good person. I can still be all the things I want to be, but be confident in the fact that I am a good worker and a good person, in that I'm going to deliver the value to the customer that I'm supposed to deliver. So if you're going to talk to me crazy, you won't
get this work.
Like he did. It was a joke. Everybody else was laughing. I kept the joke going. I was like, yeah, but really not. Like I remember he told me.
Did he make the joke or did you make the joke?
I did.
And he took it too far.
It was our government person who said something. Basically, my government person was like, yeah, blah, 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 Tiffany. And so I usually have my earbuds in at work. So I took them out and I was like, yes, you guys need something. He was like, oh, no, not right now. Usually so-and-so is talking bad about you, but not this time. And it was just a joke.
Yeah.
I recognize it as a joke because that government person is a big joker.
Yeah.
He's just funny. He's an instigator. So I was just like, oh, man, so-and-so, you would talk about me? I thought we was cool. He said, oh, why do you always take his side? And I'm like, did somebody pee in your cereal this morning? What is wrong with you? So I was like, well, he's kind of my boss. And so the government person goes, nah, I'm not a boss. I'm just a guy that does stuff. And so I was like, yeah, but kinda. And anybody who's done government contracting, you know the government is charging what you do. They can fire you at will.
Yeah.
You could do anything stupid and they'd be like, I don't like that person anymore. Get rid of them. You don't have, like, that government person is your customer.
Okay.
You are supposed to make sure that they are happy.
I see what happened here.
Yeah. So he was just like, he's not your boss. And I'm like, well, he's kind of. Everybody's laughing. And so he gets beet red, turns beet red, and starts working. And so I'm talking to my coworkers. I'm having a good time. We talking hee-hee-ha-ha-ing. And then he pulls me to the side and was like, you know he's not your boss. And I just said, yep, I know. And then he walked away.
Wow. Okay.
But you tried to embarrass me off of a joke that the customer started, that the government person started. And you tried to make me feel bad for something that's actually true.
Wow, they were really having a great time outside.
Yeah.
I
want to celebrate.
I mean, maybe they're celebrating the end of the month. I don't know. The
start of a new week.
Start of the new.
You don't have to have a lot of things specifically to celebrate here in Glen Burnie. You just you pop them fireworks off anytime you feel like it. As long as it's dark in the sky, you light them motherfuckers up.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was my experience with communication. And it was more so that I need to communicate to this person that I'm not to be messed with. Okay. If it's work, I will be as cordial and whatever as possible. If we're just shooting the shit at work and we're having a good time, you're not finna come in here and make me feel small just to make yourself feel better. So, nah.
A lot of that happens in the workplace.
Yeah, and I learned, nah, it ain't me, baby. It ain't me. And I will sit there and apologize and say whatever I gotta say to make it seem like I'm a nice person via email.
Yeah.
And that's what, always put things in emails, babies.
I mean, keep everything in writing, really, especially workplace stuff. Just, nah. But, yeah.
What about you, friend? What
about me?
Go ahead, get in there.
My hype man.
Hey.
Okay, so in the last episode, we talked about how mental disorders or mental illnesses are chemical imbalances. This episode, I want to talk about don't let your chemical imbalance get your ass beat, because it is... Go on. It is really, really crucial that you know how to talk to people. And I find that people come at me really sideways, and I don't know, I guess it's just the energy I give off, like I'm too easygoing, kind of doormatish. Like, I don't know what it is about me that people just like come at me really weird. But it happens every month at least. There's at least one
That's true.
incident
I don't know why
month.
I looked at you like that. Like,
there's at least one incident a month where I circulate a screenshot and I'm just like, hey tribe, let me get your opinion on this, because
basura.
I'm really hot right now. Like, my ears are red and I'm a black person. So when my ears get red as a black person, I'm really upset. So I come across people that don't know how to talk to people, but I also know, like, maybe my expectations of their communication skills should be not as high. But I also don't think that means it's I'm asking for too much.
Right.
So for instance, like just recently, I kind of my boss kind of got in my ass about something. But the way she decided to word it via text, I was like,
excuse me? Excuse me.
Really interesting. Like, I feel like there are so many other avenues you could take to communicate to somebody that you're displeased with something that they did without being like spicy. But so many people don't have that skill. And I don't know if it's the education system that has let us down, if it's just like, I don't know, maybe being near Baltimore. Like, I don't know what it is, but people they really come at you sideways. And I'm like, there are so many other ways you could have gone about saying, hey, please don't do this again. You literally could have just been like, hey, please be attention. Don't do this again. And that's not asking for a lot.
Right.
But instead, you have to be like kind of shady and kind of slick with it. And I'm like,
you ain't got to do all that.
Why? Why is all that happening? And then also, I come into situations where, I am dealing with or in conflict with people that also have some type of mental health issue. So like high anxiety, depression can be a spectrum. So whatever end of the spectrum of depression you may have, that's not really where I'm at.
Yeah.
It could be a lot sometimes. And sometimes people will use that as an excuse to like talk to you crazy. And I definitely have had situations where, people just going off on me. And I'm like, pause. We can address this in a much calmer fashion. Yeah. Like, there is no need for any of this because, like, I love you. Like, I love you. There's no reason to talk to me like this. I wouldn't talk to you like this. And I don't think that's unfair to have those expectations, especially with people that you love and care about.
I think it is okay. And I know there are people that are very different who feel a situation and they feel that discourse and they want to fix it ASAP.
Yeah.
But if you know that you have very, very intense anger, if you know that you are triggered often, if you know that you have issues with your vernacular and how you talk to people, it takes 2 minutes for you to just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Wait for yourself to calm down before you talk to that person. I know me personally, if I am angry, I am going to say the foulest shit to you. So I close my mouth and I'll wait till I calm down.
You simmer. You give yourself time to simmer. Yeah.
That's not something that I just naturally do. That's something that I make myself do because I know my mouth is intense.
Very.
And if you do some shit I don't like. Like, you've seen it. Like, it come out quick.
Real quick.
It's a dagger.
Yeah.
So I just, like... And gotta give me a minute.
I'm also like, I'm at the ready. Like, I'm ready to pop up. Like, mine's is a little bit more explosive than yours.
Yeah.
Mine's is like violent. Like,
mine is a poison dart. I would just like, and it's gonna hit you. And you'd be like, fuck,
but
damn.
mine's is like a nuclear bomb and a bullet. Like, I'm ready to pull triggers, literally.
Yours was little hand grenade. And I'm like, oh god damn, shit!
Everybody take cover. So yeah, I definitely give myself an opportunity to simmer, and I know, and I can accept that I pop off. Like, I definitely lose my cool around my family, and I get disappointed in myself. I'm just like, you could have handled that better. Next time, do better. Like, I have those moments of self-reflection with myself, but. I don't know if that's just an uncommon thing, if that's just not cool to do, to self-reflect, because people really come at me sideways and I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
And I think our culture as well has made it seem like it's okay to talk to people crazy.
Yeah.
Like, for you to pop off on people, for you to tell it like it is, quote unquote, for you to be real. That's just me. I'm a Gemini. Like, our culture has made it like okay for you to talk to people crazy. And I'm like, all right, if you talk to me crazy, best believe that'll be the last time. Like, I don't have
to be around this craziness. Like, I can appreciate you're crazy. I can understand it. I can sympathize. I can empathize with it. But when it comes to disrespect, like, I definitely for like 6 months of last year, I had to like be like, hey, yo, with somebody very, very close to me, I had to put them in check. I had to be like, yo, I'm not going to tolerate being talked to any type of way just because you feel some type of way. There are so many different paths you could have taken to communicate your disapproval, your disappointment, your hurt, and you decided not to take that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create some space between us because you need to figure out how you want to talk to me. You need to figure that out.
Right.
Because I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to accept it. And that's very difficult for people to accept.
Yeah.
They get very, very, very shell-shocked. They're just like, what?
And they get defensive. They generally call you sensitive.
Yes.
And there are a lot of things that, you know, especially coming from, and we both have, you know, a military parent. Both my parents are military.
Yep. My dad partied in Germany.
Both of my parents communicate very differently. My mom is kind of like a wait and see and talk to you very calmly and kind of just, you know, she's just a very toned down person when it comes to communication, where my dad is just very vocal. He's very straight to the point. Like, he doesn't spare feelings. He just says what he has to say. And so, there are different situations where people, you know, I think my mom grew up, she was more timid. So the way that she communicates with me, she comes to me, you know,
with ease. And,
definitely trying to be mindful of how I take things. And she's like almost overly considerate.
But your mom was an educator.
Yes.
For elementary school. Like,
and she took child psychology as well.
There you go.
She also knows, like, if you got some terrible things to say, you got something that's not going to be received well, you know, she's going to package that as best as she can before she puts that out.
Yeah.
Whereas my dad is just like, you know, I have this information, I need to share it, and here it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, trying to gauge with people how they communicate and how you receive it. Like, some of it is, yes, if you talking to me crazy, you need to stop. But there's also, like, you know, don't get curtness confused with, you know, maliciousness.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's
don't get timidness confused with, I can walk over this person.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that you just have to navigate with different people and seeing how they best communicate. And I know there was a miscommunication at my job, my new one, and I emailed the person that I felt like this had impacted negatively. And I asked her, I said, you know, what's the best way for me to reach you? It's not a bad thing for you to ask specifics on how best to communicate with somebody. Nobody's going to get mad at you for that.
And I think that's the easiest way to avoid problems. Just being like, how best will you be able to receive this information that I need to give you?
And that's definitely something in my past relationship that I would start asking when I would say something and he would say, you know, oh, you didn't have to talk to me like that, or, you know, that was mean the way you said that. And I said, okay, how can I say this next time?
Yeah.
What is the best way for me to say this next time?
Yeah.
Because there's certain things that are just not nice. Like, you can't be like, oh, what's the nice way for me to break up with you? Like, there's not a nice way. So there's some things that are just not going to be received well, but there are other things where it's just like, okay, how can I best tell you that you've upset me without you getting defensive?
Yeah.
Like, what is the best way for me to ask you not to do something because it triggers me? Like, those are okay things to do.
And that is something that I'm learning currently in real life. I'm trying to figure out the best way to communicate with my family, you know, my mental health issues and my needs. Because I think that in the past, and by past, I mean like last month or something, like I've expressed my needs and desires and expectations in a way that put them in a corner, like cornered them. And I think it's a generational thing. I think with one parent, it's a cultural thing, like whatever. But I think that the way I'm communicating my hurt and my pain, like, it's being received as an attack.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to actively work on adjusting the way that I communicate, because I don't want my communication to be toxic. I don't want my communication to be perceived as toxic. I want to have a productive conversation, with my parents. And there's nothing wrong in having those moments where you have to check yourself.
Yes.
Where you have to be like, okay, this is clearly going nowhere. How can I frame this a different way so this person doesn't automatically go to the defense?
And I think when you have that conversation with somebody, it really airs out quickly whether their priority is in silencing you or is in getting to a resolution.
Exactly.
So, you're going to encounter some people that are going to be like, well, you just shouldn't say that at all. Okay, that's not how conversation works. Conversations are a two-way street.
Exactly.
So we both need to figure out what's the best way to talk to each other so that we can have a good relationship.
Exactly.
And if that person isn't willing to do the work, that's something that you have to take into consideration. And it's never a good feeling.
Yeah.
Because you're essentially finding out there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
To make this person understand my perspective without them feeling upset or vice versa. So those are just one of those things, one of those situations that you have to maybe control how often you communicate with that person and really give yourself some grace and go like, hey, this is not my fault. I've done my due diligence to try to build this bridge and make this bridge work, and it's just not working. Yeah. So let me ask you, friend, when you find yourself, I'll ask for the workforce and for your personal.
Okay.
When you find yourself engaging with somebody that is communicating to you in a toxic way, what's your go-to? What do you do?
My go-to is to... because this is something I'm actively working on, I think it depends on the person. Like, sometimes I have a problem with speaking up. In the moment when it's happening. Sometimes I avoid it. And I know those aren't necessarily healthy for me because I definitely feel some type of way. I definitely leave conversations feeling like, I've been disrespected and the other person has no idea. So I'm working on addressing it as graciously as I can in the moment, but it's a work in progress. What about you?
For the workforce, I definitely make a point to attack it.
Head on.
Yes.
Head on. Apply directly to the forehead.
That and because we're in a panoramic
Honda replay.
Yeah, we I don't have a lot of opportunities to talk to anybody face to face, so it's and I have a whole new team, so it's very easy for me to get misconstrued as that Kurt lady that's a bitch. Yes. But for the most part, I will take the time to send anybody an email about any disagreements, about anything that was weird. Like, I have to think of myself as, I pretend that I'm a manager and that the people I'm working with are under me. And so I'm like, do I want to have this reputation with this person? And so if the answer is no, I definitely squash it and I will email that person, tell them I'm sorry, tell them that I'm working to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And I'll ask them, like, is there anything that I can do? Because work relations are so important. Yeah. And making sure that you are a team player and that you're humble but also confident in your abilities is a really important thing that I've learned. Yeah. As far as for my personal relationships, it's still me trying to gauge whether that person is capable of changing your ways. If they are, of course, that's an easy conversation to have. It's a conversation that I like to have face to face, even if it's like a Marco Polo or a Snapchat, just so they can see my face and my emotions and where I'm coming from so they don't get offended. Or, if it's somebody that I'm really close to, like if it's my mom or something, I would go to her house or ask her like, hey, let's do something. And then I can talk to her face to face. But if it's if it's somebody that I don't think is capable of changing the way that they communicate, I limit myself to their communication, and I have to go forward looking at them at the communication age that they are. If they are communication age 4, I have to just go, okay, this is somebody that is at age 4 and I have to treat them like they're age 4.
Emotional maturity at an age 4.
Yes.
Lord.
So
Lord.
it's not fun and it feels like babying and it doesn't seem fair. But when somebody is really not capable of changing how they talk to people, and sometimes I know we have a lot of listeners who have distressed relationships with their parents. Like if your parents aren't willing to acknowledge you as an adult at this point and they're still treating you like a child, that is something that their expectation of you is frozen in time.
Yeah.
And so you have to treat them like they are frozen in time if you want to continue to communicate with them. If you don't, I mean, there are plenty of people that I don't, and there are some family members that I don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you continue to talk to me like I am not a human being and that I don't have feelings and that I'm not an adult.
Yeah.
So I don't talk to you. And whatever rumors got to happen in the family, oh, she stuck up, oh, she do this and now she don't do that. And I'm like, okay, whatever. The people that I like hear from me.
Yeah,
so
I'm at peace.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever you want.
And the peace is always more important. The peace is priority, y'all. So that's how I deal with that.
Peace is priority. We're going to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. I guess we should get into this little trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger warning.
Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning,
trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Let's go home with trigger. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, what are we talking about?
So the next episode. So it's either gonna be our talk about toxic masculinity or eliminating toxicity.
Okay.
So it's either going to be a wrap up of everything or we're going to get into another form of toxicity that really impedes our vision and our way of life. Because when we think about it, the paternal toxic masculinity scheme is set to put us back 50 years. And we need to stay ahead.
We need to stay
by 100 years.
Yahweh been Yahweh.
Yahweh been Yahweh.
Yahweh been Yahweh. We've been watching a lot of cults.
We've been watching a lot of cult movies,
if
documentaries.
You have Hulu and I don't even remember what it's called.
I don't know.
I think it's just called Cults.
It's called Jump Into These Cults. And there's 2 seasons.
Yep.
Every episode
6 episodes.
It's a new cult. Couple hours.
It's really good. They're talking about Marilyn Manson, Children of God, Army of God. There's a lot of God ones. But there's 2 black people ones. So you black and you want to know about the black people ones because you like, black people would never.
Black people would never. They do.
They do. So go ahead.
They do, and like it's the wildest people.
It really is.
Like that was the most brutal. Okay,
so yeah, that's shameless plug for Hulu. Go ahead and entertain yourself.
Yep, cult movies, cult classics, and we'll figure out what our next episode's gonna be.
Yeah, you guys just stay tuned. Just stay tuned for next week.
We're gonna keep the conversation going.
Yeah,
that's what's important.
Yeah.
So remember,
yes,
life is like somebody that knows how to communicate properly with you and treats you with respect and establishes boundaries and sticks to them.
It feels like how ice cream tastes.
Yeah.
Just good.
You really can't leave that food metaphor alone.
No, food is my life. I'm not gonna lie. I probably will name my children after food. Come here, Cobbler. Oh, Cobbler's turning 6 today, guys.
Life is like a cinnamon roll that respects you and communicates positively, but not toxically.
Is like you go into the grocery store and then you kind of having like a not so good day, but you kind of feel off, and then you get home and then your roommate brought you like a cookie and a brownie. You're just like, oh,
yeah, that happened in real life.
Yeah.
Yep.
Life is also like going to the grocery store when you're bored and finding ice cream sandwiches that you and your roommates can enjoy.
Life is also like going out and then coming home with a bunch of baked goods.
Yes. Life is good sometimes, guys. You just gotta enjoy that.
You just gotta enjoy it, and you gotta make sure people don't ruin that moment.
Yeah, if they do, kick them out.
Kick them out.
Or kick them in the face. But do it so well that you know they won't press charges.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I would like to see that. Make sure you record it.
I did that in elementary school.
You kicked somebody so good that they didn't press charges?
Yeah, I was scared though. I kicked them in the nether regions because they wouldn't leave me alone.
Oh no.
Because I was in trouble. I was sitting on a bench because I was in trouble, and I kicked them in the little thing because he kept coming up to me. He's like, "Oh, you're in trouble. What do you do?" And I got irritated, and I kicked him in his little thing. And then I got scared because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble again." And I was like, "Yeah, you better not tell nobody." And he did it. So if you gotta kick somebody, make sure you do it like that.
Okay, y'all.
Okay, beautiful galaxies, be sure to love yourself.
And love others.
Don't kick them if you don't have to.
Don't kick them.
And continue to be the beautiful little galaxy.
Continue to be the beautiful little galaxy that you are.
That you are. There you go.
There you go.
Okay, bye. Bye.